Namaste and very hearty welcome to this third episode of Thursday Satsang. We are live on YouTube as well, so I'll be answering your questions live on Zoom chat as well as YouTube live. Once again, very hearty welcome to all of you. In this Thursday's Satsang series that we have started, we are discussing the experiential understanding that I got from my master Sri Dada Gavan, and this is his first book, Beyond the Mind. So we are discussing few issues of the seekers that every seeker passes through, and how our master Sri Dada Gavan used to tackle those issues. Very amazing, beautiful, down to earth practical methodology of solving the problems of the spiritual seeker. That's how I look at it, and that's what is required. Anybody goes to a spiritual master to seek the answers. One is stuck, one doesn't know. The master who has walked the path is better placed to illuminate the path for the seeker. So as a young seeker, I went to my master when I was about 28, 30 years old. And I had been full of questions. I had so many questions at that time. And I was lucky to find a master who could spare time for me and answer my questions. Those were not the days when we had the internet and mobile and all this facility of Zoom and YouTube Live. All those things were not there. I had to personally go every time to him, and he would make himself available, at least for some time, to answer my questions. And very beautiful methodology of discussing one-to-one. So that made me comfortable, because there are many questions that we probably wouldn't like to discuss in the group, because they are very personal. And every spiritual seeker has a challenge. There are certain personal issues which you don't want to discuss in the group, and you want somebody who can answer those questions. So I was very lucky to have Sri Dada Gavan. There was not a big crowd, even on the weekends with him. Okay? And the weekdays he was absolutely all alone, sitting in his cottage. So sometimes I will go with the tea or sometime with the food, spend a couple of hours with him and come back home. It was really the blessings of life that some such master is available at just few minutes drive from our home in Thane. So very wonderful things happened. I had been full of questions. My head had been full of questions at that time. And so many questions I asked him. And one of the most burning question as a young seeker I had is, the moment I sit in meditation, my mind gets flooded with sexual thought. That was the question with which I approached him one day. And he opened his book, Beyond the Mind. You can say this is something very, very normal. I have addressed to this. Open the second chapter in Beyond the Mind and read that. So I was sitting in one corner and started reading that chapter, the book that he gave me. Very nicely addressed. A family man, Mr. John, approached Dada in this is the old story of 1975, and there's an interview. But that's a talk between the Mr. John and Sri Dada Gavan, and the title of the chapter is The Family Man. As a family man, he had all the issues that I had, and I think whatever questions I had in my mind have been asked by Mr. John in that chapter. So anybody who is really keen on reading the entire chapter, I will recommend that you get this book, Beyond the Mind by Sri Dada Gavan, and read that chapter. Because it's absolutely amazing to understand how the spiritual master looks at the question of a seeker. Let's understand that most of the people get the thoughts which they feel that being spiritual, I should not be getting such thoughts. Okay? Many people have this idea that I'm a spiritual person, and being a spiritual person, while meditating, I should not be getting such thoughts, which is quite a common phenomenon. Okay? But most of the people who go deep into meditation, they understand that however nice, good person you may be, sometimes the sexual thought do bother you, and it's absolutely normal. Okay? Dada Gavan does not criticize the seeker for this. He said this is absolutely normal. Everybody can get it, and there's nothing wrong about it. But he gets deeper into the methodology of how you can go beyond the sexual thoughts. And what is the real man-woman relationship goes very deep. Maybe if you read 10 books on psychology of relationships, okay, and you read this one chapter, I think this one chapter will give you more insights than those 10 books on psychology. Is that powerful insight? So let's understand few basic things. See, very few of you may be knowing that I'm a professionally qualified sex educationist for past more than 20 years, and I had been doing sex counseling for thousands of couples worldwide as a professional counselor. So, but when I went to the other government, that time I had no idea of this thing. So now I will share my ideas on the subject, and I will also share my master's with other government's ideas on the subject. So they'll make it more interesting and more relevant in the modern times. See, earlier days, because the internet was not there, the inputs that the mind gets was more from the films, the hoardings, at the most the TV. Okay? So media was not very aggressive on these things. Today, even a child can watch a pornographic movie on a mobile because 5G is so very good. So today everybody is getting very aggressive input from the media on the sexuality. And it's no more a taboo the way it was few decades back. People are quite honest and open in talking about it. At least with me, that is the case because I am a professional counselor and thousands of people have discussed such issues with me. So my take on the subject is, listen carefully, is maybe it will solve your problems too. Because we are born out of sex, each cell of our body is sexual in nature because each cell is born out of sex. So when each cell is dancing with that sexual energy, okay, it is almost impossible to not to get the sexual thoughts in meditation. That is the way we can look at it. Now, the solution to the issue is not in feeling suffocated or shy about such aspect. The solution is in understanding that because we all are born out of sex, each cell of our body is sexual in nature. It is only the sexual energy which is functioning in the body. Of course, it gets transformed at every chakra. But fundamentally, it is the sexual energy that is functioning as a bioenergy in our body. And if this energy is not there, the person will be dead. So it's a very much necessary. That is what gives you the drive. Without that, the drive will not be there. Even the desire to grow spiritually will not be there. Because even that desire needs the energy, and the very fundamental Muladhara level, this energy is nothing more than the sexual energy. It is the sexual energy that gives the miraculous results. When it goes outward, it produces the baby. If the sperm meets the egg, the whole new life is created in that instant. What an extraordinarily beautiful phenomenon. You know, we were the suppliers to some of these IVF centers in India, and giving this UPS systems to them. So I came across some very good doctors, and became very friendly with some of those doctors. So in one of the test tube baby center, one doctor showed me how exactly this meeting of the sperm and ovum happens on a slide under the microscope. A very beautiful thing. How the sperm hits the ovum, and that is the beginning of the life. Each one of you and me are born like that. When the sperm hits the ovum and the life is created. And then multiplication of the cells happens, and the organs are created, and the baby is born, and baby starts breathing. And a normal human being like you and me, we are created like that. So this sexual energy is a very powerful thing. It gives birth to a child, new life altogether. It is to be understood. It has to be respected. It's a very powerful thing. So it needs a kind of a courage on a spiritual seeker side to be courageous to understand this wonderful phenomena, which you can't reject because you are born out of it. Your very presence shows. But it's because of the sexual energy that you are here. So, a very respectful understanding is required for this subject. Reverence has to be there. The reverence for life has to be there to understand this subject in a very proper manner. So first of all, acceptance of this wonderful sexual energy which is there. But as we look at it with aloof attention, there's a magical thing where the transformation of the energy happens. If we follow the chakra and kundalini path, as per the Tantra Shastra or the Kriya Yoga that we follow, at Muladhara chakra, it represents purely the sexual energy. If you go a little more up, energy moves upward. At Swadhisthana chakra, it becomes your personal choices, attitudes, emotions, all that, which is your part of your personality. If the energy moves a little more upward, one more transformation happens at Manipur chakra, navel chakra, Navi chakra, and that is the seat of the ego. Personal ambition, drive, that energy comes from the Manipur chakra. So the energy transformation is happening. Energy is the same, it's the sexual energy only. But as we go up through the Sushumna Nadi, hit the chakra, each chakra is kind of a transformation center. The energy gets transformed from one form to another form. So at Muladhara, it's a sexual energy. At Swadhisthana, it's attitudes. At Manipura, it is the ambition, drive, ego. Same energy moves upward, comes to heart chakra, becomes love. What a beautiful transformation. This is the most amazing transformation that happens on the path from Manipur chakra to Anahata chakra, heart chakra. So when the energy comes to the heart chakra, the same sexual energy is converted into pure love. It is the same energy. At each chakra, the wonderful transformation is happening. As it moves little more upward at the throat chakra, it becomes the power of communication, power of expression. And as it moves up to the Agya chakra, the third eye, it becomes the spiritual energy. It becomes the spiritual insights, understanding. And little more upward goes to Sahasrara, the crown chakra. The same sexual energy becomes the energy of the oneness. That's where the oneness is felt at the crown chakra. You and me are not different. We are all one. That's where that expanding awareness takes over, and that oneness of the life energy is experienced. It is the same life energy which is ticking as sexuality in Muladhara, is ticking as oneness in the crown chakra. My dear friends, all the transformation that happens, but fundamentally it is the sexual energy. And that's why the sexual thoughts are normal when you meditate. So Dada Gavan's approach to this is, as you get the thoughts, watch your thoughts with aloof attention, and the thoughts will not bother you. He even says not to label these thoughts. Okay, don't label your thought as vulgar thought or sexual thought or noble thought. No need. Just separate yourself and keep watching with aloof attention to your thought mind, and slowly the thoughts will keep changing. The example that he gives is, you are like a clear blue sky. The thoughts may be wondering like the cloud, how does it affect you? Just keep watching and that's it. They will come and go and that's it, finished. This very understanding, okay, if you got it right, then you will not be bothered by the thoughts. Not just a sexual thought, any thought, you will not be bothered. Because if thought is just a wandering cloud, let it pass by. You are the clear blue sky, unaffected by that thought. How does it matter? Thoughts come, thoughts go, clouds come, clouds go. The sky is unaffected. And this understanding, if it goes deeper, you will not label the thought. Thoughts come, thoughts go. And this very understanding has released or relieved you from that guilty feeling that comes that I am having sexual thoughts. No more guilty feeling. You are not even attached. You are not even labeling the thoughts. It's just basically watching it coming and going. So, going one step forward. Once the thought grips, because the sexual energy is very powerful, it creates some chemical reactions in the body. It will have its association with the physical body. So, Sri Dadagavan says that be so very vigilant that you catch it, which means you catch the thought of sexuality in awareness even before it starts. So if you are fully alert and aware and thought is about to come, you are aware and you have captured that thought is coming about the sexuality. If you can be so aware, you can completely avoid the sexual thought. And this is not only for the sexual thought, but for every thought. If you are aware, where does the thought start? And if you are aware even before that, then in that awareness, the thought cannot bother you. So capturing the thought in awareness, even before it arises, is a wonderful sadhana. That much awareness has to be there that you capture the thought even before it starts. If one can get into that high awareness zone, a very, very wonderful spiritual phenomena happens, and that is what is known as the transformation of the energy. So, if the Kundalini awakening happens, at each chakra the transformation happens. But Dada Gavan's methodology is not that. That is Kriya Yoga methodology. Dada Gavan's methodology is you transform the energy of the thought purely with the power of aloof attention, and it gets into the no mind energy. So that pure non-contaminated energy is there. It is the thought mind which contaminates the pure energy of life. It gets contaminated, and that's why we come down as a thinking human being. He is proposing that you have to rise up as a non-thinking human being because the thought contaminates your energy and pulls you down. If you can watch your thoughts with aloof attention, the contamination of thoughts can be avoided and the energy starts free flowing. That free flowing energy is you, and if you can come out of the grip of the thoughts, you are reborn. In Sanskrit, it's called as a Dvij. Dvij means reborn. Somebody who is reborn is known as Dvij. So reborn means you are born again. First birth is the birth that happens because of the meeting of the sperm and ovum. The first birth is the birth that happens from the mother's womb. But when you go deep into meditation and you go beyond the mind and the energy starts free flowing, that free flowing non-contaminated energy is you, and that is called as a second birth, rebirth, Dvij. So my dear friends, the expression of the sexual energy gives you the body, but going beyond the sexuality, you will be born again. Such a wonderful thing it is. Otherwise, this thought mind keeps us trapped into the mundane, and the whole life is wasted. Rarely somebody understands the free-flowing, uncontaminated energy from the thought mind, and that bubbling energy, free-flowing energy. The awareness becomes aware of itself. That's where you are born. You as the awareness. You experience yourself as awareness. But that experience is very much in the body. Human body is required for that experience. That's why in our scriptures, the body is known as sadhan. Sadhan means instrument. We must use this instrument, sadhan, for sadhana, which means we must use this instrument of human body for doing spiritual practices. साधन को साधना में लगाओ, which means use the human instrument for spiritual practices. So human body, which is born out of sex, full of sexuality, is a wonderful opportunity for the rebirth. And that is the way we should look at it. Let me tell you, all those youngsters who get these sexual thoughts and they keep on asking me how do I tackle it, thousands of times I have answered this question, because most of the time, every time I meet the younger crowd, this is a normal question that comes up. Okay? This time also, couple of youngsters, they asked me this question on WhatsApp privately, and I said I should answer it publicly so that everybody gets the answers. So, sexual energy is the beginning point. You will be born again. That is the end point. And that's the whole journey of watchful, aloof attention. Just one thing. If you can sit silently and watch your thoughts with aloof attention, that aloof attention has the power to transform the sexual energy into spiritual energy. That is the whole secret. How to transform that sexual energy into higher energy, the spiritual energy. The whole secret is in aloof attention and the practice. The more deeper you go, the more intense you are, more the transformation happens. Just the early level transformation also will have a great release from the suffocation that the seeker experiences in the beginning. But if you can go deeper into it, you see, it's like you are sitting on the banks of the river. You can't watch the river while being in it. To watch the river, you have to jump out of the river current, sit on the banks and watch the river. Same phenomena happens inside you. There is a flow of thought mind. Thoughts are flowing. That flow of thought is called mind, like a river. Flow of waters is called river. The same way the flow of thought is called mind. The witness has to be created inside. And that's how you jump out of the mind, be a witness, and keep watching your thoughts. As your aloof attention becomes stronger and you are able to retrieve the energy that has been taken away by the thought mind, very beautiful thing. Listen carefully. Your mind takes away your vital energy. That's why you feel so drained of energy. When your thinking is high, you feel drained because your thought mind takes away your energy. But when you settle into aloof attention, strong, intense aloof attention, your thought mind will not be able to take away your vital energy. And that is how your energy reservoir will build up slowly, slowly. You become more energetic. You will experience small energy currents in your body which are now free from the thought mind contamination. And that will give you a great courage to move further. And if you keep doing that with great intensity, in an unknown moment that explosion happens, that's where you are born. In that explosion of silence, you are born again. And that is what makes you a human being. Otherwise, there is not much difference between the animal kingdom and the human kingdom. We are all the same. So some animals are the jungle animals and some animals are the party animals. There's not much difference between the animals. Okay. There's something called party animals, no? Well, the same thing. We are in the same dimension. But when you get deeper into aloof attention and you are born, that's what makes you the human being for the first time. Then the whole life changes because with that explosion you are born again. So rebirth also happens from the sexual energy. It's just a transformation of sexual energy into the free flowing energy uncontaminated with the mind. Same thing, energy is the same. That's why, my dear friends, all those youngsters who are highly energetic and they get lots of sexual thoughts, a very encouraging statement for you. You have better chances to get enlightened. You know why? Because you have the energy. Just transform the energy. That's it. Somebody who is not having enough energy, then the transformation cannot happen. But somebody who is full of energy, vitality, sexual energy, which is there, and if you learn the art of transformation through aloof attention, then the chances of you reborn are very, very high. So my master Sri Dada Gavan was very encouraging to me when I asked this question that sexual thoughts are bothering me in meditation. And he said, that's good. You have the energy. You are so dynamic. If you sit silently, you transform. That will help you a lot. But your energetic has to be appreciated. And that's a very fantastic beginning. That's where the art of transformation of energy should be learned. Anybody who learned this art of transformation is able to transform the sexual energy into spiritual energy. All right. So let me look at the chat, and if there is any question, I'll answer. Okay, if the first thing is from the Ram's iPhone. Question number 1, lots of thoughts come so fast that I don't even know what that thought is. In that case, should I just let it go? Anyway, you have no option, it will go. Keep watching, let it go. Sometimes these thoughts go so fast, they already convert into emotion. What should I do then? Okay. Ram, this is very, very common in the beginning. Your awareness is very slow, very little. It has no power initially. Maybe the witness is still not developed. But thoughts are very powerful. They come super fast, go super fast, convert themselves, and you are zapped by these thoughts, and you don't know what to do. Quite a normal thing. Sit silently, take a deep breath, create that space within, jump out of the river, sit on the banks, keep watching your thoughts. Do this repeatedly, 10 times, 20 times, 100 times if required in 1 hour. Do it repeatedly. And slowly, you will be able to establish yourself on the banks, and the strong currents will not take you away. Otherwise, you are driven by the currents. Thought mind is so powerful, it takes you away. Your witness is lost, and from that is the state from where these questions are coming. So the answer is, take a deep breath, separate yourself, sit firmly as a witness, keep watching. If again the thought comes, takes you away, take a deep breath, separate yourself, be a witness. Do it 10 times, 100 times. until you become comfortable watching, witnessing your thoughts. Your witness becomes stronger, the thoughts become weaker, and the weaker thought cannot take away the stronger witness. Until then, this phenomenon will happen and allow it to happen. It's normal. Don't feel suffocated. Don't feel bad about it. It's normal. In the beginning, it happens. Okay. So it takes few months practice to settle so that you are not taken away by the thought mind. All right. Chetna is asking, the person born through IVF or test tube technology will have the similar thinking pattern, psychology as naturally born person? Yes, Chetna. I know quite a few children now grown up, born through IVF. I know many of them. They are like a normal human being. Okay? Their psychology, thought patterns, and all are normal. There are quite a few children in our circles also. I know them. See, basically, though, there is no difference. This name test tube baby sounds very interesting. But what happens is, what happens naturally inside the womb is happening in the on the glass slide. That's all. And there's a process, and then it's implanted into the womb. And the baby is born like a normal. So, at a genetic level, psychological level, I don't. There is no difference at all. And many of those children are now there around us. No difference. Sonali is asking, Guruji, as you mentioned that watching our thoughts with aloof attention helps in reducing our thoughts, which help increasing our energy reservoir. In this process, how and where Kriya Yoga helps? Yes. If you do Kriya, instant arrestation of the thoughts happen. That's called Kevali Kumbhak in Kriya. So if you're doing 49 healing breath Kriya, just the 49 breaths, if you are taken properly, instantly mind is gone. That is the beauty of Kriya Yoga. That's called Kevali Kumbhak. The natural arrestation of the mind happens because of the Kriya, because your Prana Shakti goes up. So you are increasing the non-contaminated energy, Prana Shakti, just by doing Kriya, which naturally happens after a long time of meditation. You are supporting that phenomenon by doing the Kriya. So if you do Kriya and then you enter the meditation, you are better off. Thoughts will not bother you at all. In fact, just by doing the Kriya, the thoughts are gone, and you can happily enjoy the meditation and strengthen your aloof attention very nicely with the help of Kriya Yoga. See, I have actually personally met and counseled those spiritual seekers who had been struggling with meditation for a few decades, not 1 or 2 decades, 20 years, 30 years, like that, and they had not been getting the breakthrough in meditation. So I taught them certain processes and instant breakthrough within few days. I'll come to that. I'll be teaching you some of those things also in this Thursday satsang. Let me answer a few questions, and if time permits, I'll teach you some of those things. So Kriya Yoga helps a lot, Sonali. That's the right thing. Atharva Tomar is asking, Guruji, what do psychologists mean by repression of sexual energy, and what are disadvantages of sexual energy repression? You see, for example, the sexual thought comes in your mind. If you are an adult, as a boy or a man, your testosterone levels are high, the thought will gain its momentum, which is absolutely normal. And that momentum of the thought gives rise to the sexual desire. In the man, the erection may happen with that desire. And there is a psychology of repression. Many spiritual seekers feel that this is not good, so this has to be repressed. So you are trying to repress that thing, but it's impossible to repress because it's a very natural thing. So repression will give rise to disease somewhere here or there. Psychological disorders may come. So repression does not work. What is important is nor the repression nor the suppression, aloof observation of what is happening. That is something to be appreciated, and that's the right thing to do. Let me tell you, if you are a normal human being, this kind of a sexual thought gaining the momentum and creating some changes in your body chemistry is normal. It is normal. Listen carefully. If it is not happening, then you are abnormal. Okay, then you need Guruji's help as a sex counselor. Because that's not normal. You have to be normal first. So if it is happening, you are normal. Enjoy yourself as a normal human being. But the dignity of being human is in the transformation of that energy. Go a little higher up. If you can transform that energy, not suppress, not repress, transformation, that is where you are born again. Okay, there's a question from YouTube chat. Vishweswar Gaba is asking, will you please explain at more length the way to transform the sexual energy? Yes, Mr. Gaba, we are discussing, we are on the same topic, and yes, let's go a little more deeper. I understand. You are very keen on knowing the nut bolt level, how exactly it happens. Okay, let's go for that. I'm all for it. Vishweswar Gaba, listen carefully. If you sit silently, if you have learned the art of separating yourself from the thought mind and be a witness, let me repeat in Hindi, शांति से बैठिए, विचारों के प्रवाह से छलांग लगाकर साक्षी बनिए. अगर आप साक्षी बनकर बैठ जाते हैं और आपको कोई सेक्सुअल थॉट आता है, you get a sexual thought and you are witnessing, you will see that sexual thought gains momentum on its own because the sexual energy is there. It gains the momentum and it creates the chemical changes in the body. And it has to happen. Otherwise, you are not a normal person. If it is not happening, you are not a normal person. If it is happening, you are a normal person. So sexual energy will have its own play in the body. And that's absolutely wanted, it's normal. But many spiritual seekers feel that this is not normal. No. First of all, as a spiritual seeker, learn to accept your sexual energy. There is nothing wrong. You are a normal person. You are born out of sex. So this sexual energy will have its own play in your body. It's absolutely normal. It has to be accepted. Not just accepted, respected. We have to learn to accept and respect that reverence. Reverence has to be there for this energy because this is the Devi Shakti. When they transform, it is the Devi Shakti. At a lower level, it is a sexual energy. It is the same energy. So the art of transformation has to be learned. And a very beautiful methodology is there from Kashmir Shaivism, which is called as Sandhaki Sadhana, the spiritual practice of turning point awareness, okay, is one thing which is a guaranteed success. And this guarantee is given by Kashmir Shaiva Master Sri Lakshmanju Maharaj in his book. He says, whosoever has tried got the success. And I agree to that. If you learn, if you understand and do it properly, success is guaranteed. There are many such methodologies of meditation where success is guaranteed. So, how do you transform this sexual energy into spiritual energy? What is the way of transformation? The way of transformation is through aloof attention, through turning point awareness, through meditation. How do we do it? Perfect answer. Listen carefully. The first step, bring your attention to your breathing process. पूरा ध्यान अपने श्वास के प्रति लाएं. As you inhale, be aware of it. As you exhale, be aware of it. Lord Buddha calls it as Anapanasati Dhyan. Be aware of your inhalation, be aware of your exhalation. As you become fully aware throughout, you are inhaling. At one point, the inhalation stops and you start exhaling. So when the inhalation has stopped and the exhalation has not yet started, there is a turning point, there is a gap. You must become aware of that gap. And once you start exhaling, at one point you will stop exhaling, and next moment the inhalation will start. So there's a small little gap between your exhalation and inhalation. Become aware of that gap. So in Hindi, this is known as Sandaki Sadhana. Kashmiri language, it's called as Sandaki Sadhana. Sandhikal Jagrukta. Sandhikal, where the two things meet, that is called Sandhikal. Jagrukta means awareness. So in English, we roughly translate it as turning point awareness or the gap awareness. So how do you practice it? So you are sitting silently. Preferably in this process, keep your eyes closed. Keep your head, neck and trunk in the same line. And as you inhale, slightly 15 degrees head turns upward. Your head will stop going upward further. That is the turning point. Become aware. And then exhale. You become 0 degree. This is 0 degree. This is 15 degrees. Okay, that much only, not much. So slight head movement will be that. So sit with the head, neck and trunk in the same line and inhale. Be fully alert and aware. Inhale. Become aware of the turning point. Exhale. Become aware of the turning point. Inhale. Become aware of the turning point. Exhale. Become aware of the turning point and continue this. So this process we call as a practice of Sandhikal Jagrukta, Sandhaki Sadhana. With this process, you can strengthen your aloof attention, you can gather your energy, the contamination of the thought mind will start reducing, the energy starts going out of the clutches of the thought mind, and that free flow of energy will be experienced when all the contamination of the thought mind is gone. This is called Sandaki Sadhana. And if you do 49 healing breath Kriya just before this and then enter this, few days, breakthrough is very easy. If you know these two techniques, 49 healing breath normal Kriya and Sandaki Sadhana, if you combine, it's a very explosive combination. Any normal spiritual seeker with some intelligence to understand will get the breakthrough in few days' time. That's all. All right, so we have our next questions from DDX Music, Archana Parab. Okay. Guruji, to watch sexual videos and pictures is become trend with teenage children, and they feel it's normal. Parents feel it's inappropriate behavior. So how these children can be helped? Inquisitiveness about sexuality in teenage is normal. I'm not saying watching pornography is normal. I'm saying inquisitiveness in the mind of a teenage children about sexuality is normal because you are exploring life, you are trying to understand what is what, and many times the adults around don't give you the proper answer and you find out your own ways, and now the Google uncle is there and then everything is available. So children of the modern era have the advantage and also the disadvantage. Advantage that you can get any information. Disadvantage because you can get carried away by that. You may be lost into that. So it is the responsibility of the parents and the teachers and the counselors to help teenage children understand what to do, what not to do, what is right, what is wrong, and develop their capacity to differentiate between the right and the wrong. Not just giving prescriptions, don't do this, no. Developing their own sense of discrimination. That is a time. Parents should help children to develop their own sense of discrimination. Parents can say that you got the smartphone, you got the laptop, you got the internet connection, whatever you punch, it will come up. You can watch, and nobody is there to restrict you. But you develop your own sense of discrimination, see what is right, what is wrong. So children will satisfy their inquisitiveness for a while, but they will not get into the wrong grooves because their own sense of discrimination is now awakened. It's a very powerful thing for the parents to understand this and do it into their children. That's a right way. Suppressing, repressing, taking away the mobile or the laptop is not the way, because they have to, even the schools give all the homework there and they have to study like that. There's no other way. And parent cannot be sitting with the children 24/7. So developing viveka buddhi, developing sense of discrimination for a teenage children, explaining them what is good, what is not so good, and then leaving it to them is the right way. What will happen? Children know, okay, exploration is there, they discuss among their friends, okay, such things are there, and then charm is gone and finished. You will be on your path to learn something higher. So first of all, the criticism of any kind has to be avoided. The sense of discrimination has to be created. That is the right approach. All right, let's progress further. Vassalama is asking which Kriya one level I should use before meditation. Still learning Kriya level 1 as of now. Do Anulom Vilom and 21 times Nabi Kriya for. That's okay. Any Kriya, any pranayam is okay. But once you complete Kriya Yoga level 1, you will learn what is known as 49 healing breath Nirmal Kriya. That's what I was mentioning. Just one 49 healing breath Kriya and get into Sandhaki Sadhana. That combination works wonderful. Okay. All those who are struggling to get the breakthrough in spirituality, I recommend this thing. Simple tools are there, use it. You will save a lot of time. Okay, you need not struggle to settle into aloof attention, to settle as a witness. साक्षी बनने के लिए बहुत सारी झंझटबाजी नहीं करनी है, बस एक 49 हीलिंग ब्रेथ कर लिया, संध की साधना कर लिया, बात खत्म, ब्रेक थ्रू मिलेगा. Otherwise, you see, thousands of people are struggling in meditation. That's not the way. Meditation, how can it be a struggle? It's a natural happening. If you create a right kind of background, right kind of chemistry, meditation just happens on its own accord. It's a natural phenomenon. There is no struggle. If you are struggling, it will never happen. So first of all, understand and avoid the struggle altogether. It's not a matter of struggle. It's a matter of creating a good environment and allow it to happen. That is the way it is. So 49 healing breath Kriya followed by Sandhaki Sadhana, as I explained you today, is a very wonderful way to get the breakthrough. All right. So there are no more questions. We will stop here today. And we will continue with further advanced techniques next Thursday. Thank you very much. God bless you.